Today, we are continuing on our quest to discover LEGO sets that break the rules. We will search for LEGO sets with wacky instruction errors, box art errors, and other accidental mistakes that were clearly not meant to happen. The LEGO Haunted House set quite literally has a haunted instruction step. Let's take a look at step number 288 here. More specifically, take a look at the chain-linked pieces. There's two of them. And as you can see, you are supposed to place them down over on the build, but wait a second, are the ends of the chains floating? I don't think that's how gravity is supposed to work. Perhaps these are haunted LEGO chains, but in the next step you can see that a skeleton is added there. So what appears to have happened is that the LEGO designer, the digital designer who was creating these instructions, must have went backwards. Instead of going in sequential order of the steps, they actually started with the hanging upside down skeleton on the chains and then just removed them for the instruction step before. Hence it looks like these chains on the left are defying gravity somehow. This LEGO City cement mixer set uses an illegal building technique. Take a look at step number 24 here. We're taking a look at the front of this cement mixer. There's a few bricks put together here, which nowadays LEGO considers to be an illegal technique. In this building step, you can see that you take a 1x1 brick with a Technic pinhole and attach on either side of it a modified 1x1 brick with studs. Now, LEGO has released an official PDF that details what is an illegal building technique and what is not, or what they consider to be fine to use in their LEGO sets. And as you can see here over on the right, there is the building technique that is used for the front of the cement mixer. So how in the world was it able to be used in the official LEGO set? Well, it turns out that this LEGO City set is from 2007, and it wasn't until 2014 that LEGO put out this official PDF detailing that that technique is considered to be illegal. So sometime in between these years, LEGO decided that this building technique should no longer be used in sets due to the stress that it places on the bricks. A fan of mine named Tommy Yang submitted this one through email. He spotted something incredibly unusual on the back of this 2021 LEGO Technic race plane set. Now, what was it? Well, let's take a look at the back of the set box art image here and take a look at this laptop, because there's something weird going on. This diagram is supposed to explain that you can find LEGO instructions online for the set, but something is definitely wrong. In fact, if we take a closer look, we can see that it is actually two images that are overlapping each other, creating a jumbled mess that is quite confusing to look at. I mean, what is even going on here? From my interpretation, it looks like there is some sort of large armored vehicle on top of the image of the racing plane. I don't know, what do you see? Let me know with a comment. This next one is one of my favorites in this video. It was submitted by Coffee Subset, a fan of this series. Now, this one is about this promotional LEGO Reindeer and Santa sleigh set. More specifically, let's take a look at the reindeer build of this set. As you can see in step 2, you add a stud onto the build. However, in step 3, it's just magically gone. It just disappears. And it's still not there on the finished build down on the bottom. And get this, it's not even on the final image in the instruction booklet detailing the entire set. So I don't know what happened to the poor reindeer's nose, but the instruction manual just decided to delete it and never give it back. Next up is the LEGO Spider-Man Venomosaurus ambush set. You may notice that it's interesting that ambush is not capitalized on the box art. Most sets have capital letters for each word, but this one does not for some reason, but that's not even the main mistake. Do you see anything here that might be missing? I'll give you a couple seconds. Yeah, maybe something right here? Yep, the Spider-Man minifigure isn't even pictured in the product images, which is just hilarious. You'd think that it would probably be a good idea to include the main character in the set images. Whoops. Here is a very recent 2022 LEGO Ninjago set. This is Jay and Nia's Race Kart Evo or Evolution, and let's take a look at what this set has to offer. We're going to be taking a look at the glider that Nia is wearing right here. It actually attaches on the back of the vehicle itself. However, if you take a look at that glider, yeah, something weird is going on. The blades of the glider are extremely wonky and not centered whatsoever. The top piece isn't even attached, and the bottom wing piece completely cuts through the bricks around it. I have no idea how the orientation and alignment got so skewed for this instruction page, but somehow it did. This one was submitted by Nicholas, a fan of the channel, and if you guys find any sets that break the rules, you guys can submit them to the email address in the description below. This next LEGO set that breaks the rules is not specific to one single set. I've seen it across a few, but basically what LEGO doesn't tell you is that some disassembly is required. Not just assembly, you need to also cut some Lego pages. Sometimes Lego's instruction paper cutters malfunction and you get results like this. Now, this is a very rare occurrence that doesn't happen often, and actually you need to be pretty lucky to experience this error, but hopefully you do have a scissor lying around unless you just want to tear apart the pages. I mean, forget brick separators, I want a pair of Lego scissors. Let's next take a look at this Lego Batman Batmobile set. It's a relatively new one, in fact, and if you take a look at instruction step number 6, you are to add 2 of these black plates to the back of the build. You then proceed to add bricks to the bottom of the build for the next 4 steps. However, in step 11, whenever you flip the Lego build back over, the black plates have magically disappeared. Must be some sort of magic trick or something that's going on here. I mean, 1 second they're there, and then a few steps later, poof, the black plates are completely gone. Now, they do return in step 12, so I guess if you really want to follow the instructions way too literally, you could attach the plates 2 separate times to add an extra level of excitement to your building experience. Thanks to Psycho for submitting this one. Next up is another Lego Star Wars set. This is Krennic's Imperial Shuttle, and let's take a look at the back of the box, because there's just something that doesn't add up back here. Alright, let's take a closer look and zoom in here. You can see that we have 2 Death Troopers and a droid, and each of them have a blaster, a standard black Lego Star Wars blaster piece accessory. However, interestingly enough, only 2 of these pieces are actually included in the set. There are not 3, there's only 2. So I don't know where that third one went, but that poor droid, well, he has one on the back of the box, but not in the real set. That's rough. I appreciate Adam for sending me pictures of this one. Oh yeah, this is a fun one. So this is another pretty old Lego City set. Well, old if you consider 2005 being a long time ago. So this box art image isn't the best quality, so let's take a look at a better image here. And specifically, we're taking a look at the minifigures that are shown on the front of this box. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 minifigures. There's one inside the truck. However, unfortunately, if you thought you were getting 4 minifigures in the set, well, you'd be mistaken because there's actually only 3. This very peculiar error was submitted by Dylan the animator through email, so thank you to him. But sure enough, there's only 3 minifigures in this set, although it shows 4 on the front of the box. That's a bit deceiving. This next one was submitted by Monkey Socks on Reddit. That's a funny username. But this is a Lego Friends set, the Jungle Rescue Base. And this one has an error with one of the stickers that you're supposed to apply. Let's take a look at step number 67 here. As you can see, we have an arrow pointing towards the sticker that we're going to be looking at. Whenever you apply this sticker, you'll notice that it is one of a medical IV, like one that would be in the hospital. However, over on the left, you can see what an IV is supposed to look like, and the set is over on the right. Do you notice something? Yep, the sticker is applied upside down. You can even see the blue liquid inside the IV bag somehow defying gravity and accumulating at the top. Now, I don't know what type of medical practice this is, but they definitely need to fix this because this is certainly not helping the patient upside down. This Lego Lamborghini set is nearly $400 US, which is insane. But there's a mistake in it, a quite interesting one. As you can see here on step number 269, this axle piece clips through the surrounding bricks, and it's not centered whatsoever, so somehow the pieces were not aligned properly when creating the Lego instructions for this set. It's fixed on the next step, which is odd, and definitely makes this a unique and spontaneous accident that somehow happened. But that red axle is definitely not able to just completely go through the Lego Technic beam piece. In front of you is a 2005 Lego Harry Potter set titled The Graveyard Duel. Now, I'll be honest, this Lego set is a disaster. It has not 1, but 2 errors on it that are both on the front of the box. Just listen to this. So this Lego Harry Potter minifigure actually uses the wrong headpiece on the box art. As you can see, the box is over on the right, and the actual minifigure yet is on the left. Notice the differences in the sides of his glasses, his mouth, as well as where his eyebrows are positioned on his head print. But wait, there's more. The Wormtail minifigure also uses the wrong head. And so if you're wondering, well, why are these heads being used that are the wrong ones? Well, the ones that are used on the box that are the incorrect ones are actually the old 2004 versions, so the head prints that were used the year prior, and so they didn't feature the new head prints. Quite interesting, but it's also funny that both of them have the wrong heads, and it was the front of the box for Pete's sake. This was submitted by Ezra_Harry. Thank you so much. Interestingly enough, I had more than one person send me this next one with the LEGO Ninjago Gamers Market set. In the back of the instruction booklet, where it lists all the parts in the set, there's a very interesting katana piece, that's the official LEGO Ninjago term for this weapon, a katana, that doesn't actually come in the set for some reason. As you can see, the katana blade in this set is more of a reddish pinkish color as opposed to a translucent light yellow. Now, interestingly enough, the back of the instruction booklet says that you get 2 katana blades in this set, but we all know that that is false. Thank you to Piplup Gaming and George S. Here is another LEGO Harry Potter set from the Hogwarts Moment series. There's a quite odd positioning for one of the stickers in this set, sticker number 7 that goes over on the bottom right side of the build. The sticker is supposed to represent the continuation of the vines from the top pane to the bottom pane going downwards, but up on the top you can see the leaves pointing down in the direction of gravity, and the one on the bottom for some reason is pointing up. Now, you could say that maybe this is just how the LEGO designer wanted this set to be built. Maybe it's supposed to look like this. Well, the sticker sheet says otherwise, because as you can see, stickers number 6 and 7 both have the leaves pointing down. And even the leaves on stickers 4 and 5 have the similar pattern. So with that being said, sticker number 7 is placed upside down on both the instruction booklet as well as the official product images. If you have this set, let me know which way you place the sticker in the comments below. Next up, let's talk about the Downtown Diner set. This is a LEGO Creator set, and as you're building it, you come across this step here. You're just creating one of the floors for the diner. However, there's something very odd about this instruction step, and that's because there is just an arrow floating in mid-air. This is a phantom arrow is what I like to call it. It's just floating there. It's not pointing to anything that you need to add on the set. It's also not coming from anything either. It's just floating there. So this is an error whenever the designer was creating the instructions for this set, probably copy and pasted the arrow a few too many times. Since there are 2 arrows on this instruction step here, this one just wasn't deleted, I guess, at the very end, and thus we have a phantom arrow. Next up is the LEGO Ninjago Katana V11 set. Now this was posted on Reddit by a user by the name of JCGold17. He saw this box error while he was in Barnes & Noble, and if you just look at this box, you know immediately that there is something wrong. It looks like it has been printed over multiple times, or maybe the black ink had something seriously wrong. It wasn't aligned properly or some sort, but if you look at this set, it almost makes you dizzy. It makes you look like maybe you're seeing some things. But if you look at the set around it, there's a Minecraft LEGO set on the left and another Ninjago set over on the right, and they're perfectly fine, which means that this was just a production error while this box was being printed. That error definitely makes this a one-of-a-kind LEGO set, and speaking of which, if you guys have ever had LEGO sets with errors or mistakes, let me know with a comment down below. Funny enough, this next error is from one of the newest LEGO Star Wars sets. This is Trouble on Tatooine. This LEGO Star Wars set for The Mandalorian has an error with its product images. Now, this main box image looks fine. However, if you look at this product image where it actually shows the contents of the set, and you look at the Mandalorian himself, you'll notice that his rifle looks a little bit different than it's supposed to. But if you compare these two Mandalorian and look at the scope for his rifle, you'll notice automatically that the one on the left is the correct version and the one on the right is the incorrect version. Here's an example that exemplifies or illustrates, I should say, what I'm talking about. The top one is obviously correct and the bottom one is not correct of how to construct his weapon. This is an interesting error in such a new set, and I'll be curious to see if LEGO goes back and reverts those images and takes new ones since it's such a brand new set for 2021. Now this next set, the LEGO Creator Expert Haunted House, is quite literally breaking LEGO's rules. So let me show you. So on this step, this is step 19 of the instructions, you can see that you're supposed to put 2 black 1x1 bricks on top of each other and then fit it into the build. However, it says 2x on the white square. Now whenever LEGO says 2x, usually that means you gotta build it twice. However, you're only building that contraption of 2 bricks on top of each other one time. So this doesn't fit with LEGO's rules for making instructions. There really shouldn't be that 2x there at all, and that just makes it more confusing having that 2x there, because it seems like you're making 2 of these pillars instead of only 1. Next up is this LEGO City Ferry set. Now, not only is this a very unique set on its own, but it also has a very unique error in it. So we have this car which is built in this set, and we can see we have a license plate on the very front. For this picture, the license plate sticker is on the grille of the car in the very front. However, in the instructions, it tells you to put the sticker on the bumper of the car. Now, that's not just a mistake on one single instruction page, but throughout the entire book in multiple different pages. Also, it's very funny to note that even LEGO themselves cannot seem to get these very small stickers straight on LEGO sets. I mean, I think this is something that all LEGO fans have troubles with and find annoying, are putting these tiny little stickers onto LEGO sets, and LEGO themselves can't even do it. Yeah, so that's why we need all these pieces printed, because not only would this remove the error in this set, but also make it a lot easier and a lot less irritating for LEGO fans. This next mistake is in this LEGO Troll set. Now, you may think there's a lot of things wrong with this set, but let me tell you, don't skip ahead, because there is actually, in the instructions, it tells you to put a piece where you literally cannot put the piece. It's pretty crazy. So here it is on steps 32 and 33. You can see on the step 33, you are supposed to put this musical note LEGO piece on that white cloud piece. However, as you can see from step 32, there is no stud there. It would be impossible to place that piece right where it's telling you to place it on step 33, making it near impossible. Well, not even near impossible, very much so impossible to place the piece right there. Now, quite obviously from this product image, they just put it over on the next stud over, but I'm just trying to figure out why they put it all the way over on that side in the first place. How did that get by? I really have no idea. Next up, of course, we need to take a look at some LEGO catalogs, because these never fail to impress, or maybe not impress, I guess. This one here, though, is a LEGO City page, in which you can see that there's a set pictured 2 times. It's the exact same one, although the names of the sets are different. The picture is the same for 2 of them, so I guess they just forgot to change the picture to the other set, but yet, I mean, they got the information right, at least, the name and the price. There was also this old LEGO catalog that was showcasing some of the Minecraft sets, and then mistakenly labeled the villager as a zombie, and the zombie as a villager. And one last LEGO catalog error, we have Frodo and Gandalf. They were switched up for one of the Lord of the Rings sets. Let's move on to a LEGO Speed Champion set here. These always have a ton of stickers in them, so maybe you know where this is going. Right here on the side of the car, we have this sort of stripe that goes across, and those are all stickers right there for the most part. And so obviously, well, we need to make sure those all line up in the instruction book. Oh, they don't. They don't line up in the instruction booklet. Yeah, so the instruction booklet tells you to put the sticker on upside down so that the lines don't match up. Okay. What's even more interesting is that since the instructions were messed up, the individual who was tasked with building the set and then taking the product images also messed it up. And so for half the product images, other than the ones that are on the official front of the box, they also have the stripe messed up on the side. Next up, let's move on to LEGO Monkey Kid. We haven't had one of these sets in any of these videos yet. This is Monkey Kid's Team Secret HQ. Now, what is wrong with this set, you may ask? It appears that there has been a turquoise tidal wave of paint that has washed over the side of this sort of barge or ship of Monkey Kid's HQ here. I doubt this is on purpose, because I don't feel like LEGO would want to cover up part of their set that they're trying to sell with this image here. I feel like just in Photoshop, the layers were just in front of these other set images here, and then it ended up covering it up, and I guess they didn't realize until they had posted it. Let's check out another LEGO Star Wars set here. This is the Battle on Takodana, and the error here is in the instruction booklet. As you're starting to build Bag 2, you construct Kylo Ren as well as Finn, and as you're building Finn, it tells you to build the lightsaber in a certain way, but then you look at the minifigure and he's holding it with the hilt the opposite way. Now, this is already a building style of disagreement among some LEGO fans on which way the hilt should go for the lightsabers in order to make it more accurate, and this instruction booklet literally just tells you do whatever you want, because it has it both ways. Here is yet another LEGO Star Wars set with an error. This is the Millennium Falcon set, specifically set number 75257. Now, this one's instruction booklet error actually tells you that you need 2 of the upper cockpit pieces that are clear in order to construct Bag 10 onto the Millennium Falcon. However, you definitely would never need 2 of these pieces. Not only are there not 2 of them in the set, but where would you need a second upper cockpit piece? This makes me quite puzzled, because I'm not sure where they would even think the second one would go, and a lot of times these mistakes in the instruction booklets are due to copy and paste issues, such as the Phantom Arrow in the first set, which we took a look at, except that the first one here is also a 1x, so it's not like that was just copy and pasted over, and it continues for multiple pages. So this next page in the instruction booklet also says you need 2 of them, but yet at the end of this build, you haven't used 2 of them, that's for sure, and you definitely wouldn't, because there isn't 2 of them in the set. The next mistake you may be familiar with if you follow LEGO Ideas, but there is some interesting information here. So the LEGO Flintstone set was originally the 24th LEGO Ideas set, and it still is to this day. However, the next one that came out was the Steamboat Willie, which also happened to be number 24 for some reason. And so LEGO didn't appear to have changed the number for this set. In fact, it got to the point where they were selling them with the number 24 on it. So it took them a very long time. In fact, it really took like consumers to tell them, hey, look, there's the wrong number on here, because even on their official website, you could buy it and the picture said 24 on the box. Now, obviously, LEGO responded to this, and basically they said that this number will be corrected for future sets. But basically what this means now is that there are some sets out there that have number 24 and some of them that have number 25. So that's very interesting. If you wanted to collect all the sets, would you now need to get both of them again? Or maybe not? Is the 24 more valuable? Probably. This next set is the oldest set by far in today's video. This is the 2004 LEGO Star Wars X-Wing Fighter, and then after we check out this one, I have a speed round of 5 more sets with some ridiculous errors in them, so stay tuned for that. For these 2004 sets, we had a very different style of LEGO instructions. A lot of red arrows everywhere, and also some background pictures or background artwork to go along with it. These were some very pretty instruction booklets. Now, also with that though, there were a lot of discrepancies with it, that sometimes the arrows wouldn't make a lot of sense based on, how the images were encoded out and printed out. But basically, we got some that kind of looked a little off. So if you looked from really far away, perhaps here you could consider for a split second that this 1x1 brick was actually going to be placed on top of that gear piece. I mean, why would that make any sense? It doesn't, and that wouldn't work. But from far away, maybe you'd think that, and even for step 7 here, it could be confusing while building these sets, and I'm glad LEGO has, really made it a lot more clear in more modern day sets. Alright, it's time for the lightning round. We're going to go through these real fast, so let's check them out. The first one here is this LEGO Hidden Side set. However, if you build the set, you'll notice that one of the stickers is actually mirror image flipped. The sticker isn't the correct orientation. This next LEGO Star Wars set came out in 2014. It's called the Droid Gunship, which is a very ironic name considering that the droid itself isn't even built right in the instructions, which is kind of sad honestly, but very ironic that a set called the Droid Gunship, which specializes obviously having these droid minifigures around with the set, has an incorrect orientation for the torso of the droid. In this LEGO City set, the 4x4 response unit, another issue is present in the instruction booklet compared to the actual pieces. You'll notice that the diver over on the left has lime green arms. However, the version in the instruction booklet actually has gray arms for some reason. Something else to point out here is that there is no other minifigures in this set that have gray arms. And so how they ended up being gray, I'm not exactly sure, but perhaps whenever they are creating these instruction booklets, there is a default color for everything before they change it or add in different pieces. Here we are checking out another LEGO Star Wars set. This one is the AT-ST Walker, and yet it has a mistake that we haven't checked out any like it so far. So basically in the instructions, it tells you to put on this sort of disc piece or flat tile, but then the next step, it turns to be just a shadow figure, which is very weird. I'm not sure why that would happen in the instruction booklet, but it does come back in the next step. So why would it have turned sort of like a shadowy color? I'm not exactly sure, but it's definitely some sort of weird error in the booklet. Now, this LEGO Star Wars Sandcrawler from 2005 may take the cake for the most complicated and most confusing instructions of any LEGO set, because due to the instructions back in the day, how they were made, and the contrast with the sets, as well as the very dark colors that all look very similar, the instructions were extremely hard to follow. So this wasn't really just a specific mistake for a specific piece, but rather just the color scheme overall and the instructions overall, which is very hard to follow. And take a look at all those pieces you need to add in each step. It's not just 3 or 4 pieces, no, it's a ton of them. I mean, look at this step here. How are you going to tell where all of those go? You'd really need to pay attention and make sure you're putting them in the correct location. Now, in fact, this is actually from an official LEGO Star Wars set, more specifically the Battle of Endor, and if you guys check out the instructions for this set, you can notice that because of the viewpoint angle that the set is sort of pictured in the instructions, it looks really weird and it ends up being almost like an optical illusion. As you can clearly see due to the instruction artwork here, it appears that a 1x3 brick is trying to attach on to a spot that basically only a 1x4 would be able to complete. Now, if you guys draw down those arrows further, you can notice that it does actually make sense. Now, that is only if you were to draw the arrows further down, and you guys can see that that works. However, it doesn't look like that whenever you're building it if you were to be looking at the instruction manual. The next error is contained within the Fire Mech set for the LEGO Ninjago movie. At first glance, this set may seem perfectly fine until you closely examine the Kai minifigure on the box. Now, as you guys may know, this set does not include a sword holder piece for Kai, since he would not be able to fit in his mech with it on. However, for many of the originally produced sets, such as mine that I received from LEGO, you'll notice that in multiple places on this box that there are legitimately pictures of Kai with this shoulder piece on. In addition, he's also pictured incorrectly on the bottom left-hand corner, and right off the bat, let me just tell you that this was very dangerous for LEGO, because technically, this would be considered false advertising. The sword holder piece is shown on the box, but is not actually included in the set itself. Now, eventually, LEGO must have identified this issue because they started producing correct boxes, and that's just because not every single one of these will have a misrepresentation of Kai on the box. So, thought that was kind of interesting. The next mistake is one that may have been even more widespread than the Fire Mech, this one occurring in the Batman movie collectible minifigures line regarding the little pamphlet or checklist that you get inside each minifigure blind bag. Now, one of these characters over on the left is misrepresented, and that is Catman. If you guys notice on the brick-built version of the minifigure here, on his legs, we're focusing on the legs, he has yellow on top and brown on the bottom, while if you look on the checklist for number 16, he actually has brown on the top and yellow on the bottom. It's flipped. And so the accurate one is the one on the right. If you were to get the minifigure, that is the minifigure you would get, but the checklist has the colors flipped, which is an interesting difference that I guess wasn't completely caught before they were mass produced and put in all the foil bags. And I'm pretty sure this was a very common mistake. At least for me, all the packs that I bought of this Batman series all had this same error for the checklist. So maybe check yours. Maybe you have this mistake on yours as well. I'm not really sure if LEGO ended up fixing it because at least for the ones I have, they're all this mistake. Here's an awesome throwback to 2012 for the Serpentine season of Ninjago. We have the Fangpire Truck Ambush. This is an amazing set, absolutely love it, but there is something wrong with it that just didn't make any sense. Here we have the two ninja that come in this set. We have JZX on the left and Zane ZX over on the right. However, if you open up the instruction manual for the Fangpire Truck Ambush set here, you're gonna notice something a little bit weird. They actually switched Zane's head for Jay's head in the instruction manual. So if you were to build the minifigures like the instruction manual tells you to, you'd end up with a Zane minifigure with a Jay head. So they flipped those accidentally, which I thought was a kind of funny mistake, and you would really only catch that, I guess, if you had other Ninjago sets at the time and, you know, obviously knew the difference between Zane's and Jay's head. Continuing on, we have the largest set that's going to be featured with a mistake in this video. This is the Death Star from 2016, part of the LEGO Star Wars line. Now, there are two different mistakes that I found from different users on Reddit. The first one here from Ujel, his actually had a mistake with his instruction manual. It looks like the page was folded in, and so it was not cut correctly, which I thought this was interesting because you can see that LEGO doesn't print over the entire page, and then they kind of like cut it off to make sure that ink goes all the way to the edge of the instruction booklets. Kind of interesting how that works. You get to see a little bit of behind the scenes on how LEGO prints its instruction booklets, but since this page was folded in, it didn't get cut correctly. The next one by a user on Reddit with the ID of DRS499M showed that there was a numbering mistake within the manual as well. Clearly from these images you can see that the counting goes from 598 back down to 499 instead of 599, so obviously there's a mistake there. So I'm actually curious if you guys have this set. Let me know down below if you guys have this mistake as well. Alright, so here is a set that was absolutely littered with incorrect artwork from 2011, the very first wave of Ninjago sets. This is the Skull Motorbike, but let me tell you, they could never get Chop of right. As you can see here in one of the product images, one of the main product images, they actually used Frackjaw's armor piece with the red sort of spikes on the sides for the Chop of minifigure here, which does not come in this set. He should have the gray ones for Chop of. This trend continues on for numerous different product images for this set, but this one just really irritates me the most. Chop of now has a reversed body. The body's not even facing, or the torso I should say, of the skeleton isn't even facing the right way. You guys can see it's like hollowed out on there in the very bottom instead of having his printing down there. It's flipped the wrong way, and they have the wrong armor on him. Like, come on. If you guys look at any of the instruction manuals back from 2011 for Ninjago, anytime this set is being advertised in the back of a manual, it has incorrect artwork for Chop of. Yup. As you can see here, all of them I have, or most of them at least, that include an image of the Skull motorbike in the back of them, have this problem where Frackjaw's armor is on Chop of's, which doesn't even come in the set. It's a gray one that comes in the set. But anyways, this set is kind of a mess in pertaining to Chop of course. So anyways, let's move on to the next one. Up next is a very subtle discrepancy on the Ninjago City set for the LEGO Ninjago movie. Now, what went on here is that it looks like they were a little bit sloppy on removing some of the preliminary markings on the preliminary boxes. You know, whenever LEGO produces a box and then just has a rough outline of the minifigures on the very bottom by writing their name. Well, they didn't remove Kai's name, and so if you look on the boxes, it literally says Kai in black lettering on top of the minifigure picture. They didn't ever remove that text that was kind of like a placeholder for what minifigure was going to go there. So honestly, they were rushing through this perhaps, or just didn't zoom in close enough. Let's be honest though, nobody really, you know, sees this unless you look really close. But it's interesting to see that this is also on the box images, like just like the box artwork. It's still there, you guys can see it here. And this was brought up to me by one of my followers on Instagram called awesome_BG, and so with him I was able to include this one in the video. Next up, let's talk about the LEGO movie. Have you guys caught on a different trend here? A lot of them are from the movie sets. We have the Batman collectible minifigures, we have this LEGO movie set, we have Ninjago City, as well as the Fire Mech from the Ninjago movie. And so there's a lot of mistakes with these movie sets, which makes me kind of wonder if LEGO kind of rushes through these or does them at kind of the last minute or changes things at the last minute. But anyways, for this one isn't necessarily anything to do with the graphic designer's fault, but rather LEGO's machinery at the production plant. This is an image of one of the instruction booklets for Benny's spaceship, and as you guys can see, there was a problem with the black ink. It just kind of like smudged all over it, and the user said that this is a common trend throughout this entire booklet. So I guess that's a little bit unfortunate, but at the same time it makes it unique and possibly a little bit more valuable. I don't really know if something like this would hold a collector's value, but hey, at least it's unique. Now, in case you couldn't already predict the future, the next one is also from a movie of LEGOs. This one from the Ninjago movie, this is the Water Strider. Now, what's peculiar about this one is that LEGO literally just did not finish building the set before they started taking product images. And what's interesting is that these are the product images that are literally everywhere, wherever you want to buy this set. So if we look on lego.com, we have the Water Strider. Look at the legs of the Water Strider. It's obvious, something is missing. If you guys look on the leg that's closest to us over on the right, it's literally missing Lego bricks on top of it. It's not even finished. They didn't even finish building it. Like, how do you miss that? I mean, I know Lego does a lot of things, and there's a lot of people working for them, but at the same time, like, nobody caught that before they published that? I don't know. I saw this immediately whenever these were released, but this is definitely, you know, not what it should be. Next up, we're going back in time to some retro sets, some good old LEGO Star Wars sets from 2000. Now, what's going on here is that there's actually just some pieces missing. Now, this happens a lot. I obviously wouldn't include every single example because they're everywhere. Basically, whenever LEGO's making instructions, they'll forget to include one of the pieces, and so they'll attach it on the large image but won't ever put it in the necessary supplies for that step. And so this one, have you guys spotted it yet? It's kind of hard to spot on this since all the colors are very similar, but it's these two bricks at the very bottom left. Those two are not listed on the supplies list up on the top for instruction number 29, but yet they just magically appear there. So imagine if you like forgot to put those there and needed to come back or something. That would be terrible. Now, before we check out the very last addition to this video, I just wanted to make a notice here that I'm not trying to be negative towards LEGO. In fact, LEGO does an amazing job at quality inspection and product inspection before they release stuff to the public. And honestly, if you're such a huge company putting out hundreds of LEGO sets, obviously there's going to be stuff that slips by. We're all humans. I realize that, I'm pointing out things that's wrong about these sets. And honestly, there really aren't that many mistakes when compared to how many sets LEGO puts out year after year after year. I wanted to include something very unique that you probably haven't seen before, and also something very different. It's not necessarily on a LEGO set, but rather on an official guide for Ninjago that was released in 2011. It included this image here, which I got courtesy to the Ninja Master 510 on Instagram, and with it you guys can see this Zane minifigure that was never released. More specifically, that torso there with that printing, that was from like one of the preliminary trailers of Ninjago that Tommy Andreasen had made. Basically, this is a minifigure that was produced, or I guess created, before the official ones came out. So it's interesting to see it in this official guide book, since it never became an official minifigure. Next up, let's talk about the Darth Vader transformation set. Due to an error in the editing of the product images, this 2017 LEGO Star Wars set gave us a very intriguing look into how product images are shot and edited. Now, we've all seen the product images that LEGO produces for their sets with this white background that focuses on the build and the minifigures. Now, the minifigures themselves, as from this Star Wars set, we can see are propped up on these disc pieces. And so from this product image here, it appears that the editor forgot to remove these individual disc pieces that were propping up these minifigures, allowing them to pose in different positions. Now, this is interesting because obviously these 4 pieces do not come in the set. And so somebody could see this image and say, hey, why aren't those in my set? Well, LEGO eventually figured out their mistake and edited them out, and so this is the image you'll see if you look on their website right now. However, certain websites you'll still see the discs in this outdated image. Now, something really interesting I want to point out is that you can see the reflection of the minifigure in the disc themselves, as well as the surrounding photo shoot area, which is, that's pretty cool to see. Up next is a LEGO City set from 2011 called the Police Helicopter. Now, this is slightly less coveted than the Rescue Helicopter. However, this set has a very interesting mistake. Keep in mind how many minifigures are in this set. There are 4 total minifigures, 3 of which are policemen, 1 of which is a crook. And if you look at this second instruction booklet, you'll notice that if you count off the amount of policemen minifigures you see, there are 3 obvious ones, but there's also 1 in the cockpit, therefore there's 4. Wait a second, there's only 3 police minifigures in this set. I mean, I guess you could argue that the minifigure in the helicopter is additionally placed in the blue section in order to just simply show off the minifigure more. But at the same time, I mean, part of the helicopter itself is on the blue part, and that is obviously part of the set. So all of a sudden you're looking at this image thinking that there are 4 police minifigures, and yet for some reason you only got 3 in the set. I don't know, it seems a little bit misleading, but at the same time just wanted to share it with you guys because I found it really interesting when I first discovered this. Up next, I think it's time to address the thumbnail image you most likely clicked on whenever you were going to watch this video. That is an official image from a LEGO instruction booklet from this set in front of you right now, the Parisian restaurant. This highly deceptive LEGO instruction page can be found in the second booklet for this set, and it's step number 7. You'll notice that there is a 2x1 brick that appears to be kind of being situated on top of the fireplace, on top of that flame. However, if you look at it from a very close angle, you'll notice that there's 2 little studs behind that fireplace where this brick will be placed. It's a very unclear angle, you can barely see where the brick is going, and from far away, it definitely looks like this brick is going on top of the flames, hence it can be kind of confusing if you were building it and just glanced at it and saw that you were supposed to put a 1x2 or a 2x1 on top of the flame piece. Oh, and it also doesn't help that the next step doesn't even show that that brick is there. If you zoom in, it appears that there is green behind the flame, although there should be that semi-darkish gray color of the brick piece that we were supposed to have just put there. And so that would make it even more confusing, because then you'd think that there was supposed to be sort of like an olive green colored brick behind there. And then you'd wonder, well, where did the dark gray brick that we were supposed to put in just go? The LEGO NASA Apollo Saturn V brought back a peculiar building technique that most LEGO fans had considered to be one of the banned LEGO techniques. Now, for context, this includes any sort of building where you put two LEGO bricks together in order to create, let's say, a double-sided brick, or wedging a brick perpendicular to another brick. For the set itself, the main attraction, the rocket itself, was completely fine. However, the lunar lander was where this interesting building technique was placed. If you look at the American flag, it is wedged in between two studs on that hexagonal base plate. Most likely, this was probably one of the last resorts for the LEGO designer as he was trying to manipulate LEGO pieces in order to create the scale that he was looking for, since these are microfigs. Nonetheless, this technique was not new, but rather forgotten for many years. I mean, take for instance this 1978 LEGO castle set here called Yellow Castle, and the 1x2 tiles that are placed on the very top of the horses. Dating back even further, there was the 1976 Cowboy set. This was before the original LEGO minifigure was actually developed, and also the Stagecoach set, also from 1976. And so I guess you could say that this was initially a surprise to us that LEGO reverted back to this building technique, a technique that they really had been encouraging people not to do, to not put stress on the elements in the incorrect way, or therefore, using these sort of banned LEGO techniques or banned building techniques. This past year was a semi-rough year for LEGO Advent calendars, more specifically the LEGO Harry Potter Advent calendar, because of the different tweets that LEGO received from customers and LEGO fans who have opened up the different days of the Advent calendar only to realize that they are greeted with something completely different than what they were supposed to receive. This first tweet here says, "I think I got a really special turkey today in my Harry Potter Advent calendar, and in it, instead of a turkey, there is a croissant, a pie, and 3 cookies." Now, it turns out that the 2 days seem to have been flipped and put in the wrong compartment, because you get the pie and the croissant on a separate day, and therefore they were just switched. However, there was another instance where LEGO received another tweet saying, "I bought a LEGO Harry Potter Advent calendar. Seems to have a Star Wars crossover, and instead of getting Professor McGonagall, this individual got a Star Wars Imperial Gunner." Yes, a LEGO Star Wars minifigure in the LEGO Harry Potter Advent calendar. I, for one, have never had a problem with Advent calendars. They all seem to be pretty reliable to me, but if you guys have ever had a similar experience where something's been in the wrong spot or you got the wrong build or figure, let me know if they comment down below. Up next is one of my favorite mistakes in this video because of its interesting outcome. Now, this takes place in the Dojo Showdown LEGO Ninjago set for the Tournament of Elements. Now, before you look closer at this set, it's important to familiarize yourself with these two characters. We have the minifigure of Slevin over on the left and Chope over on the right. They're both anacondrae, they both look very similar. However, Slevin over on the left has that slight white printing on his head, so keep that in mind. And now let's look at this set. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, we can see an image of Chope. However, if you look at the very top of the box, it says Slevin, but has the same image. Now, it doesn't help that the instruction booklet makes it even more confusing, because this is Slevin in front of you. And so to recap, we have images of Chope on the box art, but yet labeled as Slevin, and then we have Slevin in the instruction booklet. So which one is actually in the set? Well, supposedly, the official set is supposed to have the Slevin minifigure you see over on the right. However, this unnamed individual from a LEGO forum got both of them in the same set. Now, here's what he said. He said that then I see that both minifigures are surprisingly included in the box. They both came out from the original part bag. And so from this, we can conclude that LEGO knew about this box mistake before they even put all the pieces into the part bags that go into each set. I mean, in the end, I like how LEGO handled this. They owned up to their mistake and ended up just including both minifigures in the box to avoid confusion. And in the end, these lucky individuals, got 2 anacondrae instead of just 1. Once again, though, this mistake was not entirely new. Take, for instance, this 2018 LEGO Batman set, in which on the bottom right-hand corner of the box, it shows Batman, the Batman minifigure, with a Batarang. However, there is no such piece in the set itself. Similarly, in 2007, so going back one more year, we had this LEGO Bionicle set with 2 different colors of eyes. It was red on the set box images, and then blue in the instruction booklet. And lastly, in 2005, the LEGO Viking set here showed a discrepancy in the type of axe blade. You'll notice the blade that goes entirely around the handle over on the left, while the one on the right simply just clips on, and that's the newer version that we all know of today you most likely have in your collection. Let's move on to another LEGO Harry Potter set. We're not talking about the Advent calendar this time, but rather just one of the mainstream sets that came out. This is the Hogwarts Clock Tower set, and yeah, it's a clock tower, but something's wrong with this clock. Can you identify what's wrong? Yeah, it's completely rotated the wrong way. You'll notice that the number 12 is actually where the number 3 should be, and therefore at the very top where number 12 should be, there's the number 9. Here's an even closer image, and you can clearly see that it's rotated by 90 degrees clockwise. However, I looked in the instruction booklet, and the instruction booklet has it up correctly with 12 at the top, and obviously all the other numbers where you'd expect a regular clock to have them. And so I guess for me, this is just a very ironic situation, because this is called the clock tower, and yet the images from the box of the clock on the tower are not necessarily in the right position nor correct. This is a very interesting mistake. Alright, now let's talk about LEGO catalogs, because these aren't completely error-free either. You'll notice this one here. Do you guys notice something weird about the set in front of you right now? This is from the Winter Village Station set, which is one of the LEGO Creator sets under the Winter Village line. However, if you look at the build over on the right, the farthest to the left of the little shack where the arrow is pointing, there is no roof. There's just no roof there. And if you look at the set image over on the left, the official one, there is of course a roof there. So somehow that roof piece got taken off, and yet they took the picture for this catalog with the roof off and didn't ever notice that. Now, honestly, I really dislike being critical of LEGO just because LEGO's quality control is probably one of the best out of every brand in the world. And whenever they do make mistakes, they're very few and far between. Notice how the sets we're looking at this video are from all different years, dating back a very long time ago even for some. But nonetheless, this one's from a year later, in 2018, there's another mistake here with this set. If you haven't already caught it, it's one of the poles on the windows. For some reason, there just isn't one of the poles there. I don't know, once again, I have no idea where that piece went or how it didn't get put on, because that's a very large piece. But nonetheless, it somehow didn't make it on the set. Moving on, we have a LEGO Movie 2 set. This is the Shimmer and Shine Sparkle Spa. Now, from my original video that I did, you guys may know that I talked a lot about LEGO Movie sets because they seem to be more on the rushed side, where more mistakes were likely to occur. And this one's instruction booklet here is just a disaster, I'll be honest. I've never seen so many mistakes in a LEGO instruction booklet than this one. In front of you right now, these images are courtesy of BSD 1975, and he took a picture here of steps 11 to 12 where there's obviously something going on. There's just a bunch of bricks added that are not called for in the instructions, and it's not just these two steps. There's also step number 81 and 82 where there's also a jump. It's not as noticeable, but obviously there are a lot of bricks towards the front end of the build that you're constructing right here that are, they just magically appear there. This next set I just wanted to throw in real fast as we're on the topic of instructions. This set is the cargo train back from 1985, and I just wanted to highlight how confusing the instructions were back then. I mean, look at, you can't even follow really what's happening here, and then you get to the end and realize that you were building two different legs for this platform. But honestly, try and follow it with your eyes and how you would be building it. It's definitely not as streamlined as the instruction booklets we have nowadays. Alright, now we have gotten to this set, which is by far probably one of the craziest and most mysterious mistakes in this video. I have no idea really how it happened, but just listen to this. So, this is the LEGO Harry Potter Hogwarts Castle back from 2010, and it comes with a whole plethora of minifigures you guys can see at the bottom of the box. Now, one of those minifigures is indubitably Voldemort. Now, from the box, he looks perfectly fine. He's in black robes, which is exactly how he should appear in his minifigure form. However, from this product image here, look at Voldemort on the very bottom. He's turned green. I don't know why he has green robes. He's not supposed to have green robes. He's still supposed to have black ones. I mean, here are them side by side. The original product images from the front of the box were perfectly fine, but the one of the set with the white background was not. For this next set, we're taking it all the way back to Legends of Chima, and for those of you guys who were fans of this theme, you guys will really enjoy this one. This is from the Gorilla Legend Beast, and everything looks totally fine from these product images until you get to this one from the semi-side of the build, and you'll notice that the gorilla's left arm, that ball and socket joint, it doesn't really connect in there. It's kind of just loosely hanging there or just positioned there, almost as if it was photoshopped in. There's only one side of the clasp. I mean, for context, here is the box art over on the left, and it's totally fine. While the one on the right, which is the exact same image, I'm not sure what happened to it, but it's just missing that other part of the ball and socket joint. If you've ever wanted to see LEGO defy gravity, well, you're in luck, because this LEGO Spider-Man set, titled the Spider-Jet vs. Venom Mech, actually has a floating sticker in the instructions. On step 50, you are to add a sticker to the clear cockpit piece and then place it on the build. However, the sticker is already there and is just floating in midair. It appears that the LEGO designer who was creating these instructions actually started with this image and then decided to raise up the cockpit, but yet left the layer of the sticker still down below, and so it appears that we have a floating sticker. Next up is one of the oldest LEGO sets that will be featured in this video. This is a 2002 LEGO Harry Potter set, and if you take a look at the instruction booklet, clearly Lucius does not have the correct hairpiece in the instructions. He has longer hair in the set, in the physical set, however on the instructions he has much shorter hair. Now at some point LEGO updated these instructions because the online version has the correct hairstyle, but yet there's no cape on this one now, so it's kind of wrong once again. And also, this is perhaps the worst minifigure image in an instruction manual. I mean, wow. This next set was submitted by Jake Drums, in which this set actually really does break the rules. In fact, it incorporates an illegal LEGO building technique. This is the LEGO Creator Blue Power Jet. And if you take a look at this image, maybe you can spot it. I'll give you a few seconds here. Perhaps you can spot what's illegal about this build. But if you haven't seen it yet, let's go ahead and take a look at the instruction manual where this piece is put together. So, as you can see, we're building the cockpit of this fighter jet, and at the very front, you are taking a 1x1 clip piece and also taking a 1x1 square tile piece and placing them together. According to LEGO, this is an illegal building technique. You can see it here over on the left using the tile and then the clip piece. It places unnecessary stress because it doesn't fit properly there, but also something interesting is that this clip to tile is a legal building technique. So over on the left here would be the one that would be illegal, over on the right would be okay. It just so happens that the set uses the 1x1 with the clip on the very top, and then the tile, which LEGO says is an illegal building technique, but yet it's an official set. This next LEGO error I discovered thanks to Tim from the Netherlands. He sent me in an email with some pictures, and if you guys want to have a chance at being featured in this series and you guys know of any LEGO sets that may break the rules, send me an email, describe it, send some pictures maybe, and you'll have a chance at being featured. This LEGO City set called the Shopping Street has a funny mistake with one of the promotional images that go along with the set, because as you can see, the lady construction worker appears to have cloned herself. There are now two of her in this image. Most likely this appears it was from a copy-paste mistake from whoever was designing these images on LEGO's behalf. So, very interesting though, and pretty funny if you were just to stumble across this and see that there were actually two of them. Here's a LEGO set that I never thought I'd ever include in any of these videos. This is the LEGO Creator Wind Turbine set. A very wild set, a massive wind turbine, and that's pretty much it. Well, anyways, you have one of the minifigures here who is pushing a cart with a few tanks, and basically there are these two nozzles on top, one that's yellow and one that's blue. However, you may notice that there's something weird about them. In fact, they're different pieces. So the yellow one does not have a hole, but yet the blue one does. And LEGO has actually created different pieces, so the new mold or new version of the piece is the yellow one without the hole. However, the old version of this nozzle piece that LEGO used to create actually has the hole. And this LEGO set just so happens to have a rare instance in which you have both the new and old versions of a LEGO brick in the same set, and even more ironically, basically in the same exact spot as well. They're placed right next to each other whenever you build this cart. Now let's check out this LEGO Star Wars Sith Troopers Battle Pack, and let's take a look at the minifigures that focus more specifically on the Sith Troopers over on the left, the red minifigures. Now, there is a user on Reddit who claims that he actually received one of these troopers to have a torso that actually was a red plaid shirt instead of a Sith Trooper torso. And I thought this was very funny because this guy, I mean, he really needs to get his act together and get suited up because they're going out there and he can't be going out in his pajamas. As far as if this is actually real, well, you have to just trust the creator of this post for that, but as far as what I read from the comments, it seemed like it was legit, and if it is, that's pretty cool, and also a very weird mistake. I mean, just getting a different red torso, it's got a wrong print, obviously. I wonder how that one slipped by. Very interesting. In front of you is the LEGO Ninjago Destiny's Bounty set, and according to its instructions, there are apparently 2 number 12 bags? Well, that can't be right. This set has a printing error in its instructions because you build bag 10 and then immediately jump to building bag 12. This one should be bag 11 instead. However, for some reason it says 12, and obviously then there's a second one after it that is the true number 12 bag. As you can see, it's a real thing. Check your instruction manual if you have one of these Destiny Bounty sets from LEGO Ninjago Legacy. It's very interesting. Obviously it shows that there are 2 bag 12s, however it should be 11 and then 12 the second one. In the LEGO Friends set, there's an interesting discrepancy with the minifigures and what is shown in the instruction booklet at the very end. This was alerted to me by Nathaniel, so thank you to him. Now, for this set, we have a lot of minifigures with a lot of detailed torso prints, that's for sure, a lot of colors as well. However, if you take a look at the back of the instruction booklet, where there is a log of all of the pieces that are included in the set, you'll notice something interesting about the torso prints, in which quite a few of them actually do not have the correct print on them. They're just a blank slate torso. I'm not sure how this happened, or if this was just a weird glitch, if LEGO just couldn't be bothered to put on the correct print and just decided to go blank. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, this is not typical for LEGO instruction booklets, especially nowadays, to have a sort of detail like this, where just the printing is left off. This next set is Kai's Mech Jet from LEGO Ninjago, and this was brought to my attention by Vice Rojas, so thank you to him. We'll focus on the jet portion of this build as opposed to the mech, so we'll focus on the right build here and take a look at the instruction booklet that goes along with it. So as far as the set picture goes, it appears you get a 1x2 plate that is gray, has a clip on it as well, or 2 clips actually. However, whenever you're building the set, it's red. So is it gray or is it red? And which one is correct? In the instruction booklet here, it's red, but on the box art images as well as the instruction booklet artwork on the very front, it's gray. Well, the correct one here is actually the image over on the right. It's the instruction booklet with the red clip piece. So I guess the individual who had the task of building the set and taking the set images actually used the wrong color clip piece for the set. I wonder if they did that intentionally and just hoped people wouldn't notice, they didn't have the brick around or something, or if it was a genuine mistake. Alright, so this is a good one. This LEGO Star Wars Resistance Bomber set has something very confusing about its instructions. On step 21, you're instructed to add a 2x2 gray circular plate piece. However, if you look on the build of the set, it is nowhere to be found. Absolutely nowhere. You have absolutely no clue where you're supposed to be placing this 2x2 plate. It's just not even pictured. What's crazy is that you never figure out where this brick goes until step 96. That's 75 steps later. That's ridiculous. And you only figure it out because you're building the other side. And so at that point you can go back and add the brick exactly where it should be for your original side that you were trying to build back in step 21. Now, interestingly, it can also happen the other way around, as is for this LEGO Movie 2 set, Welcome to Apocalypseburg, because in step 211, it says you need 3 bricks. However, on the set, it has 4 bricks highlighted. There is a Technic pin right there with red around the edges. indicating that you should add it to the build. However, it's not indicated up in the steps on the top above the 211 that you should add it. Now, that ends up being a false alarm because further on, if you flip through the next few steps, you'll notice that it disappears, and whenever it's added to the main build, it clearly does not have a Technic pin in it, and you add it the next time whenever you build another little contraption and then add it to the build. Here is a LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar. These are always really fun. You got some cool little builds as well as awesome minifigures. However, this one actually had something I thought was always just kind of weird. This has got to be the most arrows I've ever seen in such a concentrated area for a LEGO instruction, because obviously they need to fit it on the back flap of the door here so you can build it whenever you open up each day. And wow, those can get confusing real fast, especially those two green arrows over on the left. But I mean, at least it's not as bad as some LEGO knockoff sets. This is a fake LEGO set in front of you. Obviously, it's not LEGO brand at all, but just look at these instructions. Oh gosh, it's so bad. Look at all those arrows. It's just absolutely atrocious. This next LEGO City set was submitted by Brix Galore via email. It's the Ocean Exploration Submarine, and we're going to focus specifically on this remote piece that one of the divers is holding that can basically control one of the remote-controlled submarine drones. Now, if you take a look at that piece, in real life, it looks slightly different. It's a printed piece, I believe. However, they're different, so I guess at some point during the development of the set, they decided to change up the design a little bit, because on the images of the set, it's actually different than what you receive in person. Yes, it's very similar, and I bet a lot of people just overlooked this, but there is a slight difference here. Now, this next one, I received a ton of comments as well as emails about this LEGO set, and a mistake particularly about the flags on it. So this LEGO roller coaster set, as you can see, has 1, 2, 3 kind of like pairings of flags. The ones for number 2, actually there are 2 of them right there, but they're pretty much grouped together. However, if you take a look at the set box art, it's missing the flag that was on the corner. This is the same for the instruction booklet cover. However, in the instructions themselves, yes, you are ordered to include the flag there. Even more interesting, on another set picture, now the flags from the first position are gone as well. And you can see where the third flags were supposed to connect. However, for some reason, for these set pictures, LEGO decided to take those off. Why? I'm not exactly sure. Now, since we're here talking about this roller coaster set, I may as well include this one. Clearly, there is a misnumbering in the instruction booklet going from 368 to 393. That's definitely an error, but if you have this set, let me know if this is in your instruction booklet as well. This next one was the LEGO Arctic Supply Plane set. It was submitted to me by Peter, and he sent a whole lot of pictures, so let's take a look at them. If you follow the instructions exactly the way that they are printed, you'll end up having a sticker that's upside down on your vehicle that you build in the set. And that's because if you follow the instructions, you actually create 2x of the exact same piece. And since the sticker's labeled the same, you end up having 2 of them, but then you apply them to either side, and then obviously one of them would need to be flipped, and all of a sudden you have a sticker that's upside down, which is definitely unfortunate. So I guess that's just another thing we all need to be looking out for whenever we're applying these dreaded LEGO stickers to our sets. LEGO, please just give us more printed pieces. If you want to see more LEGO sets that break the rules, check out the playlist on the left-hand side of the screen right now. Subscribe to my channel for more LEGO content, and leave a like if you guys did go on to enjoy. I'm SpitBrix, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video coming very soon.